Long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Never gonna lose, never gonna win. Long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. So you can't see me when that's on, but I can see you, and you were dancing, sir.
I was dancing.
That is
sing that yourself.
That is my theme tune. Yeah, written by me, sung by me. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Sam Tasker-Grindley, good afternoon. How the devil are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. That's cheered me up as well. That's got me going. So thank you.
It's a great song, isn't it? So I wrote that song a while ago now. I'm all about say hello to Tabitha.
Hey, Tabitha.
Hi, Tabitha. Good afternoon. So I'm all about positivity, as you know, and I always see things as a glass half full. Yeah. So I called the song Full Cup, and the chorus is you get out what you put in. Well, I can't. Can you see that there now? Oh, this is weird. This is so weird. So that is the name of my company and my tagline, all in a song. So and it's such a bouncy little song, and when I sing it live, people end up joining in with the chorus, even though they've never heard it before.
And then your guests start smiling as well.
Absolutely, and that's another benefit that's hidden. So Swoop, where I come from, that is birdseed. So come on, you're not selling birdseed. What are you doing, Sam Tasker-Grindley? Tell us a little bit about you and what you do, please.
There's a Swoop airline as well in Canada as well, and every so often we get the wrong sorts of inquiry coming in about why is my flight being cancelled and that sort of stuff. But no. Yeah, so Swoop's all about SME funding. So we bring the whole SME funding landscape together in one place. So not just debt and loans, which a lot of people assume it is, but we like to look at a business holistically, and debt isn't always the right answer for some businesses. So we bring in grants and equity as well. So it's sort of a holistic view of funding for SME clients, and we go out and get the best options for you out there in the market through our networks and our investors and lenders that we have on our panel. So I've been at Swoop I joined back in December. Before that, I was a practicing chartered accountant for my sins. So I was in practice for 8 years at various different size firms. Most recently at RSM in Leeds, but previous to that, I've sort of done the small, medium, and large accounting firms. So I think it helps then coming onto the software side, because I do sort of understand a lot of the challenges that accountants and bookkeepers are going through, and I can sort of help to relate to those, and then potentially provide software as being a solution to some of those. So yeah, definitely helpful. I think that I can speak the language of accountants. And who knows, I might end up back in practice one day. That isn't a request for job offers. I very much enjoy my role at Swoop, but who knows?
Well, that is amazing, and because I've been in your shoes, working with accountants and helping them and stuff like that. I'd just say hello to UK Cloud Accountants. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, so you go and you help accountants, and I've been working with accountants now for over 15 years. So I don't know it from your perspective, but I do know it from a perspective of an accountant, because I know so many and I've worked with so many. But that's what makes you a little bit different to a lot of the other guys doing all the software and the services and things like that, because a poacher turned gamekeeper, or the other way around, I don't know which way it is, but they've got an affinity with you. And when you know what it's like trying to get funding, you know what it's like working with a company that is struggling for cash. So it's that sort of thing.
I also know what it's like feeling like you don't have any time. We'll talk in a second about the biggest challenges that accountants and bookkeepers are facing at the moment, and one of them is time. I'm still yet to meet an accountant who doesn't tell me they're time poor, and there's all this pressure from all sides to be doing all of these advisory services. You've got tech companies and software companies selling at accountants left, right, and centre, and it's like, I don't have the time. I don't have the bloody time to do it. And it's I've been through all of that, and I was going through my career and looking for ways to differentiate myself from my peers, and that's why I started to get more interested in the advisory and the tech stuff, because that was my way of doing something a little bit differently. But yeah, I definitely definitely understand the challenges. I've definitely been there before, and it helps me to help accountants, I think.
So you know all the challenges, so you left, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, well, I get asked this a lot, like why did I leave? And I think ironically, I think it's the most exciting time to be in the industry, to be in the profession that there's ever been, because I think it's much more about personality, it's about relationship building, it's about being a bit more relatable to the business owner and the business themselves. So it's ironic that I've left a couple of years ago, because actually I think it is the most exciting time to be in the profession. So despite all of the challenges that there are.
But you're still in the profession anyway, yes, aren't you? And I think, you know, we can both say that we are. Hello, Tony. Thanks for popping on. Always good to see people joining us. And if you do say hello, then at least we know there's people watching. So you said about building relationships and all that sort of stuff. Accountancy years ago, it was all about the numbers. It was all about the tax return, and it was all about the accounts. And like you say, today it's all about the relationships. I was chatting to, and I can't think who it was. It's a long time ago now, but he did a talk at the local school or college and sort of like said, you know, come into accountancy. It's really amazing. And he turned around to the youngsters and said, what do you think I do? What business am I in? And all these kids were coming back and saying, oh, money and numbers and, you know, His answer was, no, I'm in the people business.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, isn't it? You know, people buy from people who they know, like, and trust. And, you know, I want to work with an accountant that's really got my best interests at heart. You know, not someone that's trying to make sure I'm compliant. I want him to help me grow my business. I want her to help me with other issues that I didn't think, you know, were around the corner. And I think the thing is with what you're doing with your funding, that's another string to my accountants or my bookkeepers' bow, as to how they can do. So let's imagine a world without Swoop or anybody else like you.
Yeah.
I'm running my small accountancy practice. What would I need to do for funding and stuff like that? Make it really simple for me to understand, please, Sam.
Yeah. So, well, what we do, what we provide as a service is we help accountants to either spot opportunities within their current client base, if there are opportunities for funding, or to educate and inspire them and build the confidence of the accountant to be able to have conversations with their clients around funding. At the same time, though, we don't expect all accountants and bookkeepers to be experts in funding. So we essentially just form an extension of your team. So if you ever want us to have a conversation with your client about their funding options and opportunities in the market, and where funding could potentially fit in at each stage of their growth, then we're always happy to do that. In terms of how they can very quickly and easily engage with us, we have a platform where they can upload their client, they can explore their potential funding matches, be it in grants, equity, or loans, and we keep you updated. So if there's grants is a great example of a quick win for an accounting firm. I mean, if anyone's tried to uncover what sort of grants might be available for their clients, it's an absolute pig of a landscape to navigate. You can spend hours going down all sorts of rabbit holes and government websites and local let websites, etc., and still not come out with any answer. So we have a grant finder tool that can uncover all of that for you in seconds. And, you know, the perception from your business owners and your clients that you'll be working with is that you've spent hours researching this stuff for them. So, you know, in terms of quick added value stuff that you guys could be doing really quickly is just to do a quick grant search and go off in your year-end meeting or monthly meeting or quarterly meeting, whatever it might be, and let your business owners know what grants might be available for them. Because, you know, I don't like using the word, but everyone likes free money. So grants is a great place to start with if you're looking to find some extra added value and to start to build your sort of premium type service. Because like you said a second ago, Ashley, like the compliance side is the keeping you out of jail part, which business owners don't truly value. It's just a necessary evil that they have to go through. It's just something.
Yeah, like my gas and my electric, isn't it? And my photocopier or whatever else I've got in my business.
Exactly. So if you can start to find these little wins to add to your service and to give the wraparound and love to your business owners, then, you know, this is just one quick way of doing it, I think.
No, fantastic. I don't know if you can see the chat. There's a few people coming on. Hi, Merlin. Hi, Hanan. How are you, young man? And Steph's there as well. So yeah, always good to see these lovely people. Steph is saying in the chat box there, she's got a meeting with you next week. So
she does. Looking forward to working with Steph. She's fantastic.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm too busy running my practice to even think about grants. But what you're saying is now I just press a couple of buttons in your platform and it's turning around and saying, oh, there's this one here. So next time I speak to my client, did you know this amount of money? We spoke last year, or we spoke recently about you need a new van for your business. I've just found this grant for you. How awesome is that, to turn around and tell one of your clients that they can have that new van or whatever it is?
Yeah, I mean, I can't promise there's a grant out there for everything. And, if you're based in London or the Southeast, it's particularly difficult from a grants perspective because, there just aren't the grants available in that region. Having said that, there's big national technical grants which we can help you get access to, which, again, are horrible to apply for by yourself. So having a partner to help you with that just completely makes sense and takes away some of that time that you might have had to put in terms of applying for, or the business owner, who, let's face it, is also pretty time poor. So we just take a lot of that heavy lifting away from you and your clients to make it as easy as possible, basically.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. So there's grants out there that I don't know about, and that's the thing, isn't it? You speak to somebody and they go, oh, I've got this grant. Where do you get that from? Oh, yeah. And again, I live in the Southwest, so I guess there's more grants for us down here, and I guess in Scotland and other places like that, there's lots of different grants for different things. So that is absolutely amazing. So you've been working with accountants and bookkeepers for quite a while, you say, and you are one as well. But what sort of challenges are you seeing our community, our bookkeepers, our accountants having at the moment, Sam?
Do I have to choose one?
What? No, we know there's a load. We know there's a load. What's the? We can go on to all of them, but what is the main one?
The biggest one that, without a doubt, that I hear people complaining about is recruitment and a lack of resources, and this talent shortage that is out there in the world. And the recruitment side, part of it is a bravery thing as well. It's like when to recruit, not just how to recruit, but like when shall I recruit? When shall I go from being a sole practitioner on my own to getting my first recruit? And then should I be bringing on another senior person, or should it be a junior person? So it's not just there's not enough people out there. It's when shall I recruit? It's what shall I recruit? It's what sort of experience? And it's such a candidate-driven market at the moment that it is really difficult. Candidates know that they are sought after and they can pretty much walk into any other job. So there's then the pressure to be looking after them. Obviously, we should be looking after our employees as well as we possibly can anyway, not just because of the threat of them leaving, but there's pressure coming from all sides. So I think recruitment, from being at Digital Accounting Show and Accountex and all of the other ones, that's the thing loud and clear that people are finding most difficult. So yeah, and it doesn't help that software companies and myself move to software companies rather than staying in practice. That is obviously not helping things, but yeah, I suppose where companies like Swoop can help is that we do just become an extension of your team. So funding advisory doesn't necessarily have to be something that is a drain on your current resources, because we can just pick up a lot of that stuff for you and do it for you ourselves. And funding is a really interesting one because it does help you sell your other services as well. So if you're interested in moving into more general advisory type service, sorry, I hate that word, but everyone knows what it means, so I have to use it. But like forecasting or management information, and there's other things. Funding is a really good way of selling that, or making the business owners realize the value of it, because generally lenders will need it. So it's got that need then. It's not just trying to sell the pretty dashboards and everything else. So funding, for me, if I was to ever set up my own firm, and I'm not just saying this because I'm biased, but if I was ever to set up my own practice, funding would be one of the key things that I would be talking to my business owners about, because I'm still also yet to meet a business owner that isn't interested in funding in some form and at some stage, even if it's just to have an understanding about where it could fit in all the various different levels. But yeah, to go back to your question, recruitment, I think is the biggest one, and then that ticks into the number of resources available to provide the best type of service, because the third challenge is competition. There's so much competition out there because I think there's more accounting firms setting up than ever, and your service is being compared not just to other accounting firms but also just to other services to I know you've heard all this before, but
yeah, Amazon, yeah, absolutely,
or whatever it might be, you're just being compared to everything. So it's very challenging.
Yeah, no, but exciting times to be in the space. And especially if we've got, you know, tools like Swoop and all the other people that I talk to and I see at all these shows that you just mentioned, you know, there's a load of things that can help. So Swoop, is it a platform, or do you send a man or a lady round to my practice to help me? How does it actually work? What's the nitty gritty?
Yeah, so we have like a self-service type part where where an accountant can just sign up to the platform and basically use us for free. But they don't get the sort of hand holding and the love from myself and my success team, where we help you build this as a service. We help you spot opportunities. So we've got a free and a paid version. So there's something there for everyone. And, you know, on that paid version, we will come and do team training. We will come and spend some time at your office and help you. We don't want to work with every single accounting firm in the land. We want to work with the right ones. We want to work with those ones that do see funding as a key part of you know, keeping the economy moving and part of that premium service for SMEs. So yeah, it's a bit of both.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if you know anyone called Sharon Fox, but she's singing your praises. I love that phrase, the breath of fresh air. That's absolutely lovely. So that's a great testimony there from Sharon. So thank you for coming on and saying that, Sharon. You didn't pay her or anything for that, did you?
I did not. No.
So is there anything about the funding world that accountants and bookkeepers should be aware of, Sam?
Yeah, so this week it's just been announced that there's a second version of the recovery loan scheme that has just hit the market. So for those of you who are not familiar with the recovery loan scheme, it's one of the government support packages that was available. So it started with a bounce back loan, then it moved to the coronavirus business interruption loan scheme, which is easy to say, or CBILS, and then RLS. So RLS version 2 has just been announced, which is going to be 70% government backed, but and it's up to 2 million. So I think it's from 25 grand to 2 million. The big difference is that a personal guarantee will probably be required in all cases, whereas in the old recovery loan scheme, it was you didn't need one under 250 grand. So that's the biggest one. And if anyone's got any questions about PGs and what they really mean, happy to tackle those offline. I think there's a bit of a fear of personal guarantees and PGs, but I think there's also some myths that need to be bust on them as well. So it's good that the government support is still going to be there. It's going to be there for the next 2 years. And hopefully we'll just keep funding flowing through the economy, and we'll still be there to support those SMEs who need it most.
Well, they're all coming on now. Look at this. Christina loves you too. And this is the thing, right? A breath of fresh air and a game changer. And so here's my spin on it. Before I'm an accountant, so before I was using Swoop, I was just doing the day-to-day stuff. Now I'm looking at things differently. Is that why these people are coming out with breath of fresh air and game changer?
Yeah, I think what Swoop are doing really well is that we were born with the business owner in mind, not with an accountant in mind, which I think just means that we do what the business owner needs, and that is also what the accountant wants. I think they want to provide the best possible service for the business owner. So we're providing the best possible service for the business owner, and it just so happens that the accountant is the vehicle that we're now using to do that. So yeah, it's business first, it's client first, and what I've really worked hard on with the team behind the scenes is, you know, your clients are your babies. Like, if we mess with that relationship, if we mess up, or if we don't give good responses, if we don't communicate properly, that doesn't just reflect badly on us, it ends up reflecting badly on you. So we treat, or the goal is to treat your clients with the utmost respect, and always treat them as if they're our own babies, and not just your own. And so yeah, I think that's potentially where we differ from a mindset point of view, is that, you know, we'll treat your clients as if they're our own.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that, because I've not met, I mean, I've spoken to, you know, probably thousands of accountants over the years. I've not met one that doesn't love their clients and love helping people. They all love helping people, which is why we have this terrible endemic of underpricing, undercharging, and scope creep, because they just love helping people.
Yes.
But with what you do and your ethos and all of that in the background, we're still able to help our clients. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I love how you call them their babies. I think that's absolutely superb. So what's your top tip that an accountant and a bookkeeper can do right now?
Do I spit one again? Because I've got a couple. It depends on time. But
oh yeah, because we've overrun our 50 minutes. That's it. Cheers. Bye bye. I'm all right to overrun if you are, sir.
Yeah, cool. I mean, the first one, most of the people listening will have heard all this, but charge what you deserve, and really understand that value and your own value, and don't compromise on it. And like you said, accountants are so willing to give, and they want to give for free, and they'll be like, oh, well, business is hard at the moment, everyone's struggling, so I don't want to put my prices up. But ultimately, you're running your business as well, and you've got to make sure it's profitable for you. So you've really got to. I just encourage you to be bold and to chart. And for those that don't see the value and don't want to accept that price changes, they can go to a cheaper accountant. That's fine. And you've just got to be brave enough to say, you're not right for me where I am in my business. You're not willing to pay for the service that I want to provide you. So here's a number of someone down the road that you should go and call. So I suppose that's the first one. Second one, in terms of working with sort of apps and software companies, work with them is my biggest tip. So I was the same when I was in practice. Like, you get this magpie thing where you feel like you need to speak to every tech company and every app, and then nothing will happen, and then you'll blame the tech that it doesn't work. But I just encourage you to work with. You're so much easier to work with if you want to work with us. So that's why I say we don't want to work with every accountant in the world, because I don't have time to inspire and change people's mindsets all the time. I want to work with people who want to work with us, and I can help with more than just funding. You asked me to recount a best story of how I've helped with an accountant. So I'll give you one. This for me is what success is about. So everyone's got a customer success department now, and it is more important than sales, we're told. But for me, it's about helping accountants, bookkeepers overcome all of their challenges, not just for funding. So there's a particular accountant that I work with, which I introduced them a potential candidate to recruit. They recruited the clients, the employee, so saved, I think, £10,000 or more on recruitment fees. I then introduced them to a potential client, and they sent a proposal to this client. They ended up getting the client for £4,500 per month. So it was a good client.
We love you.
It was their biggest client. And then Swoop helped to fund that client. So a couple of months down the line, we were then able to secure them funding, and the accountant earned more than £2,000 in commission. So for me, it's not just about the funding was the icing on the cake that happened at the end, but it's more about how we can, I can't promise that I'm going to be able to get every single new recruit. And
you want recruitment, talk to Sam.
But just ask, like, we can help you with marketing. We might be able to help you think about your prices and everything else. Just ask the question. And, there's some amazing customer success people out there in the other softwares and apps, and just work with them. Tell them if their baby's ugly and tell them why. Like, do help them to provide a better service for you. So I think I just love honesty. I want people to give me the feedback and to let me know how we can better serve them and what they need, rather than just leaving and never hearing from them again.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to work for Digita, and I used to go to accountants that were using the competition, and they turn around and go, "Oh, Ash, I want to have a look at Digita because it does X, Y, Z." And I went, "Well, your current software actually does X, Y, Z. You're not working with who's your account manager? Never see them. All right. And what about? Oh, never see them. But you don't know what you don't know. So ask your incumbent. Go, bang on the door and say, "Look, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling to make this work. What can you do to help?" "Oh, really? Oh, well, fine. We can do this and we can do that." If they then turn around and go, "Oh, it's tough. We don't want to help," then you go and look at the new shiny object. But yeah, no, that's a great bit of advice. How do people get hold of you?
I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, so I mean, this is airing on LinkedIn, so feel free to connect with me. Otherwise, my email address is samtg@swoopfunding.com. So either or, always happy to connect and speak to accountants. That's fine.
Fantastic. If anyone's got any questions, please come back. I've got one more question for you, Sam. But before we do that, I'm just going to flash on screen who I've got next week. And I guess it would have been competition for me when I was at Digitar, but this is I got Jonathan Stobart coming in next weck, and he's going to be talking about accountancy manager, so practice management for accountants and bookkeepers. One of my passions, because obviously, not obviously, but I actually have worked in that space, so that'll be an interesting show next week.
Lovely guy, Jonathan, as well. He's a good guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Tabitha's just put your email address in the group there. I don't know if you saw that, but Steph cannot wait, which is great. So my last question to you, sir, when you were at primary school, right, running around the playground, what did you want to be when you left school?
Yeah, so it was two different things. So I either wanted to be an author and follow in my mum's a children's author, so I either wanted to follow in her footsteps and be an author. So I was quite sort of decent with creative writing and had a reasonable imagination when I was younger. Or I wanted to be a tennis player. So my family's very into sports, particularly racket sports. I've got an identical twin who became a professional squash player and took that mantle on. I wanted to be a tennis player, but unfortunately I had injuries when I was quite young. So I decided to live the dream and become an accountant instead.
Fantastic. What a great story. That is incredible. So, but you can still play tennis now, and there's nothing to stop you writing. So you can still do both.
Everyone's got a book in them, apparently.
Sorry?
Everyone's got a book in them, apparently.
Well, so I'm in the middle of writing mine, sir. So it's going through second draft and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Everyone has a book in them. Some of them it has to stay there, but yeah, that's the thing. So it's all about LinkedIn content is what I'm doing. Sam, you've been a lovely guest today. Thank you so much for coming on. We've gone over 15 minutes a little bit. Thank you so much for everyone's love, comments, questions and stuff like that. Lovely to see you all, and yeah, get in touch with Sam and let's see more about Swoop. Thank you, Sam. Thanks everybody. Cheerio. Bye bye.